Hey there, this is going to be a tutorial about Enter Jabu with Bombs and Hoverboots. So my setup uses entering with full speed in Zora's Fountain so that you get this position. If you are watching the cutscene, then you'll be a lot more far back, which means you'll have to do a long roll, one singular long roll, to back it up to the same position as what we're going to be using. So once again, we enter Fountain with full speed. And the setup starts now. So the setup is side hop, side roll. Take the angle of the side roll, turn to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 gets you on the flat. When you're on the flat, you only have to do side hop, side roll without releasing target. And then it's 2 long rolls with the second one that slides. So this is going to be the position that we use for this setup. The next thing we want to do is pull a bomb and know how to recognize the 4 bomb flashes that will work for this setup. And what is nice is that we do not need to pay attention to the actual bomb flashes. What we're going to be using is a Q on Link's shield. So if you've done Spirit Hover, maybe you know about this Q. It's going to be the exact same one. So you can look at the bottom of Link's shield. There is that kind of blue spikes that you see over there. And when you pull a bomb, then I'll show you once again without the drawing on top of it. When you pull a bomb, you can see that this is being overlapped back and forth by the skirt of Link. So by the green part. Let's look at it once more and let's go with frame advance. So first the skirt is going to come up and cover the point. Then it's going to uncover, recover again. And what we want to be careful of is when it starts uncovering. All right. So here we have the last red flashes in which the blue point is not yet uncovered. Since it's red, not yet uncovered, we know it's not the good one. So we go a little further, and after those 2 red flashes are 2 blue flashes. Those 2 are with the point uncovered. So the frame you're watching right now is the first frame that has the blue point uncovered by the skirt, and it's our first working frame. So I'm going to place a safe state there, and I'm going to come and show you the other frames that work. So the second small blue frame also works. And now we have what I call lonely red, which is the very last small red frame, and after which we have big blue. Big blue is going to be our last working frame for this trick. Let's now go over the inputs after you've paused on the correct frame. So we're not going to start with the 2 small blue. We're going to start with either lonely red or with big blue, which work exactly the same way. So let's start with lonely red. I'm going to pause here and equip the hover boots. In the unpause, I'm going to shield and roll at the same time. So shield and roll at the same time. During the roll, and before I get hit, I'm going to start holding right, still with shield and target. And then I'm going to mash A to get a mega side hop. So this is going to be the first frame I can mega side hop. I don't release shield just yet because I could get hit by the explosion still. And after a little bit, I'm going to release shield and I'm going to start looking at where Link is. Let's look at Link's top of hat. Link's top of hat is right here. And right now you can see that it's kind of aligned with this little mount. And there's also this seam here. So when we see this, we know that our information is going to come from the next frame. And in this case, it's pretty easy because Link gets pushed to the right by the ice. So this could be your cue to know that now is the good time. You could also start watching at this white stuff. And this is something that is going to happen only on Lonely Red and Big Blue. The fact that you get pushed to the right and then Link's top of hat is around this cue. Now that I'm on this frame, it's a frame I pause on. What I'm going to do is equip the Kokiri boots and I will jump slash in the unpause lag and repause after. So jump slash in the unpause lag. This is the first frame after, second frame after, third frame after. There's a good chance the next one works. You could try it out for yourself. And during one of those few first frames of the jump slash, I'm going to re-equip the hover boots and do absolutely nothing. And here we are entering Jabu. Let's now go over the two small blue frames, which are the first working frame. They have a little thing that works differently. So let's go over the inputs. Same thing, Indian pause lag after equipping the hover boots. We're going to shield and roll on the same frame and start holding right with shield. The mega side hop is going to happen way later, which is quite important to note. For this first try, I'm going to mega side hop on this first hit frame. The top of hat is now aligned with the mount, so I know I have to go to next frame. And on this next frame, there's something important about the top of Link's hat, which is here, is you want to be able to identify this little horizontal dark patch on the wall. So I'm going to flick on and off a little bit just so that you guys can see this. In this scenario, Link's top of hat is under this queue. And if it's under this queue, we're going to do the exact same thing as previously. So let's go over it quickly. We're going to jump slash for 1 to whatever frame, and then we re-equip the hover boots. Let's now try to find a situation in which we have the opposite scenario. So let's make a side hop on the second hit frame. And this is now my information frame, and I can see that Link's top of hat is covering the queue that we were talking about earlier, this little horizontal dark patch. In this situation, what I'm going to do is equip the Kokiri boots for just one frame, which is going to throw Link backward. On this frame, I pause again, this frame perfect, and I'm going to equip the hover boots and jump slash Indian pause lag. So we have two situations that we need to be able to recognize, is either if the top of hat is on covering on top above this little dark line, or if it's under. If it's under, we just do the same thing, and if it's covering it, then Link gets a little too high up, and we need to back this up by not jump slashing for one frame and then equip the hover boots and jump slash at the same time. So that's going to be our backup. Thanks to this, we have 4 frames to deal with, and that is the big advantage of this setup. Something to note for people that would like to do this setup, but for example, that would not want to set up their position. It's pretty classic that people use something such as a side hop side roll and then they go position like this. They just want to get pushed by the border and then they'll have whatever queue. What you want to be aware of if you try to do Enter Jabu like this is if you feel like you're too far forward for some reason, then you want to go for later frames because you want to get hit immediately and not let Link roll far forward. The issue with being too far forward is that at the time that you get hit by the explosion, if you're already activating the hover boots, you'll get knocked off the air. The other issue is being too far backward. If you're too far backward, you don't want to go for a late frame. You want to go for one of the 2 small blues, for instance, because those ones will get hit later on, which will let your roll progress a little further and position you correctly. It will just catch up the fact that you're too far backward. Being able to position in a place where the 4 frame works is difficult. I'm not able to do that, so I will not share cues. And then I am not able to tell you if the adjustment for the small blue, knowing if you're too high up or too far down, works. So that's also why I prefer to set up the position and the angle. That's it for Enter Jabu. I think that's pretty straightforward. It's a lot of steps, but it works very, very consistently. And since I'm using this, it's no longer a headache. So I hope you like it as much as I do. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao, ciao.